The New York Rangers have made a very surprising move that may have fans searching for answers. Peter Laviolette makes multiple changes to the lineup, and with a very busy schedule coming up, is this officially a lost season? We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 74% of you who watch these videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers, it's free, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, of course, another very disappointing loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is coming off of, the holiday break. Kreider Miller was back in the lineup. He was quoted as saying before the game, this is a fresh start for us to get back on track, and well, that did not happen. A very poor performance, and obviously lots of shenanigans last night from, benching certain guys. Finally, we'll get to that as well in this video, and obviously Igor Shesterkin leaving the bench, and a lot of people were making something of that as well, that he should come back out and support his teammates. But honestly, this has been a tough season for him, and the defense is not giving him much help. And speaking of defense, the story of the day is Zach Jones was a healthy scratch against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, of the the entire roster, if you want to go through the entire roster, this is not even top 5 guys that I would start with scratching. Even if you look at the defense, not even close to who I would scratch to start. Obviously, these were the defense pairings last night. You had Ryan Lindgren and Adam Fox, although it did look like for a short period of time it was going to be Kreider Miller and Adam Fox. If you watched my video yesterday, that's what was projected. That did change. They went back to the status quo, and like I said, it seemed like Peter Laviolette was playing a lot of the classics over the holidays, because he went back to, what we know to start the season did not work for some reason, and he decided to go back to that. And I've defended Peter Laviolette on this channel, but today I'm searching for answers myself. So Kreider Miller then slotted in with Will Borgen, and again, Zach Jones was scratched. So Vakanainen goes in with Braden Schneider, which I think is awful for Braden Schneider as well. I think he deserves a better defense partner and probably some more playing time, but nonetheless, we will break that down later in the video. But Zach Jones is a healthy scratch, and I think this was a great point and exactly what I was thinking from Johnny Lazarus. And these are the kind of decisions that toy with a player's confidence. Jones and Schneider were a pair that worked. Of course, there's some bad games here and there, and there definitely were. But for the most part, Jones has earned his spot at a training camp and had earned the opportunity to make up for his mistakes, not have to sit every time he makes them. That's exactly what I'm getting at here, and exactly my thought process. If Zach Jones, because he's a young player, every time he makes a mistake, he knows he's going to be sitting or scratched, he's going to stop taking chances and stop playing his game. And I think that is going to be very detrimental to his development as he continues to develop as a regular NHLer. And stop me if you've heard that before with this organization, but I think that is a problem. He cannot be playing with that weight on his shoulders, and I don't think he deserves to have that weight on his shoulders. I think, dating back to last year when Jacob Trouba was injured and he came in, he looked like, okay, this is going to be a guy who's going to play, maybe not big minutes, but a lot and as a regular in the NHL next season and probably going forward, right? And I think that he has earned his spot. He had a rough start, right? Like, that isn't a secret or anything, but he definitely had a rough start, but I think he's earned his spot in this lineup. And I mean, again, let's look at the defense pairings. I think, for the most part this season, the only pairing that has been somewhat steady and something that I would keep together and wouldn't mind going forward is Zach Jones and Braden Schneider. Whether you want to put them on the second pairing or the third pairing, it's probably the third pairing, but I think you should put them together and bump their ice time up a little bit. I think they've earned it, and I'm not sure why they continue to play other guys over them and give them more minutes, because if you're not playing well, you shouldn't be playing. And that's just the fact of the matter. I don't care how much money you make. And speaking of money, there's a lot of money on the Rangers' top power play unit, and it was horrible last night. And I thought this tweet was hilarious from Peter Baugh, that the New York staves off the Rangers' power play to keep the score 5-1, because obviously Tampa Bay got a couple shorthanded goals there. They gave up, and they've done this numerous times this season, where you give up a ton of goals in a very short period of time, in a very, in a part of a game, or in the game, time in the game, that you cannot be doing that. A very crucial time in the game, I should say, And they did that again, and they've done that multiple times this season. This was not a good game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And finally, I think fans have been calling for it. I've been saying it. If you're not playing well, you shouldn't be on the power play. I have no idea why Peter Laviolette continues to this point in the seaon, we are about to hit the new year, and he still had not changed up unless there was an injury. Power play one, and not even just changing them up, throwing them out there every time, and it just was not working. So Lafreniere was put on power play one instead of Mika. Mika was benched, per se, if you want to call it that. This is from Statboy Steven as well. Mika Zibanejad looked like he was about to break down in tears. Listen, it's sad. I hope that this player figures it out. I know these guys are human beings and their friends were just traded. This is a business. This happens to so many other teams and so many other teams that go on to win and find success. I mean, we have to get it together here if they're going to find a way out of this, or they're just going to not find a way out of it, and this will be a lost season. And I think that is an absolute shame for some of the players on this team, for the fans, for a guy like Sam Rosen in his final season. It's an absolute shame that they continue to put in efforts like this. And the body language speaks to me. And there was a lot made out of the body language earlier this season that, you know, leaving the ice, the body language was just horrible. And stuff like this, obviously, if you want to go watch the full clip, they're panning the bench and everyone just looks like lost. Will Cooley looks like he's the only guy that's genuinely pissed off about what's happening right now. This is the other thing. Maybe they're close to tears, yeah, because they care, but they're not doing anything about it. They're not going out there and playing angry. They need to go out there and play physical, aggressive, angry, right? Like, if you're not happy about your circumstances, what are you prepared to do to change them, right? Because you have the power to do that. We know that this team can play well and can change their fortunes, but they're just not doing that. It's completely mental with this team this year. I mean, we are creeping up on a lost season, right? If you look at the standings, dead last in the Metropolitan Division this year. You know, some of the players spoke out after the game about what's going on and how the confidence is just so low. And then you continue to scratch younger players who are actually playing well. It blows my mind what's happening this season. Keandre Miller on the need for the Rangers not to get discouraged during games. Just because we're losing in a game doesn't mean we've lost the game. I think that's something this group has maybe lost a little bit, that pushback. That for sure is the case this season. There is absolutely no pushback. When they go down 1-2 goals, if they don't score the first goal, it's pretty much a lost game this season. And I haven't seen that in a very long time from this team, excuse me. It's obvious. This is from Mika Zibanejad post game. It's obviously tough when we feel like we're doing a lot of good things, which is crazy in itself because I feel like they have not done a lot of good things for a very long time this season, maybe dating back to October, early November. And then pretty quickly, the score gets out of hand a little bit. It's a tough one to assess. I thought the effort was there. It's just special teams both ways, honestly. And yes, maybe the effort is there sometimes, right? But the special teams, this is a team who should be really good at special teams. I thought that they improved their penalty kill coming into this season. It was looking like that for a part of the season. This is a team that we obviously know in past seasons, besides this season, which is an outlier, the power play has been unbelievable, probably unsustainable if you look at the numbers from last year. So this is absolutely shocking to me. One last thing and a positive that I'll bring out of last game is, you know, Borgen laying the rock bottom here on some of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So he's playing physical. He's been all right since he's been brought in, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be a difference maker, and I'm not sure anybody was really expecting that, but just somebody to shore up the defense, obviously with Jacob Trouba going out. But they need to make some moves. I don't think one move is enough to galvanize this team. I think they are a couple moves away, and I don't think Chris Drury has a couple moves left. He's got to get cracking here. The holiday trade freeze, I mean, I saw a lot of tweets last night online. The reaction online was crazy that, you know, people were like, chop, chop, you know, the holiday trade freeze is done. Let's get moving here. Like, I'm tired of watching this team the way they are. So I think something big is happening behind the scenes. I think there's definitely another move that's going to come soon. And there could be some movement in terms of coaching and even management at this point, because I think this season, with the personnel and everything, you know, that happened last season moving into this season and the mentality of the team right now, all of it is completely unacceptable. And I think that's how Rangers fans are feeling. And, you know, it's tough to continue to watch these games this year because I think majority of Rangers fans are unfortunately ready to give up on this season. There's a slight chance still to make the playoffs, but at the bottom of the Metro, it's looking really tough as we move into 2025. But let me know what your thoughts on, you know, scratching Zach Jones. I thought that was very questionable, and obviously the team's play the last couple games. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.